Marika, but get lost. Two Team Smuggies, but welcome to the People's Pod. Week 14's upon us, and I'm taking what is mine. If you make the playoffs, you are a firing guy. Guest host Brad Stumps. Marika, but get lost. Two Team Smuggies, but welcome to the People's Pod.
We are in.
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Buckface. Back in Santa Barbara in Brad Stone's marvelous bachelor pad. Coming at you. It's Wednesday. It's the 8th of December. How was your weekend, sir?
It was great. I'm sucking down this Belgian beer you gave me. It's very strong. It does have that Belgian taste that you mentioned last week.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not the biggest fan of that.
It's all right. But thank you for the beer, nevertheless. Weekend was good, man. Let's see. I'll give you a little update. I told the league I was getting surgery. I got that on Thursday. My mom was here for the couple days after. That was nice to have her around. Then when she left, you arrived. Luckily for me. Otherwise, I'd be a solo ship on the ocean of recovery alone. But you're here, and we're just hanging out. It's like old times. Super easy. So, yeah, I've been chilling, man. Just been working, hanging out with you, getting honked at by cars on the street.
Yeah, what the hell is going on?
It's loud. People driving by. What about you, man? What's new?
Well, in this edition of Where in the World is Calling, obviously Santa Barbara, I guess. But
That's right.
Let's see. Last week I was in the extended stay in Fashion Valley, San Diego. House is still TBD, is when we can get back in there. Friday, Chelsea and I went and saw Trevor Noah at SDSU in the Viejas Arena on
great.
campus. That was pretty funny. He's a riot. A lot of making fun of white people, you know. Matter of factly, deservedly.
I've heard of that. For sure.
He's like the top 5 things that white people love. Number 2 is being white.
I do like that.
And number 1 was Sweet Caroline.
Oh my gosh. Jeez Louise.
So that was fun. Saturday, we went to the Ocean Beach Christmas Parade, which I was telling you a little bit about. But basically, the main drag in Ocean Beach, Newport Avenue, was all blocked off. There were 100 floats or acts, marching bands, kids skateboarding, old cars, you name it. They got DJs on top of things. Street was packed. Everybody's drinking pretty openly. Nothing egregious like beer bongs or anything, but there was some public intoxication going on.
That sounds great.
Our group included. What we did is we bought a bottle of wine, bought a thing of cranberry juice, dumped out the cranberry juice, put the wine in the empty container, concurrently got a 6-pack of stiff IPAs and some holiday cups, and then poured the IPA into the holiday cups and then sucked those down. So yeah, that was pretty fun. Then Sunday, got up at 4:45 a.m. to drive Chelsea to the airport. She's currently in Costa Rica this week. Then I hightailed it up here and got here before 9 a.m. on Sunday. Then we had a great time watching the games.
Oh, man, that was great. More to come on that later. That was fun. Showed up before 9, and then we got the festivities going. Kurt came over for a while. Shout out to Kurt, by the way, for another firing jingle. He's still got it. Every week I look forward to it. And
Marika, get lost.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, shout out to Kurt. And speaking of smuggy, should we talk about atonements?
Yeah, we can move into the atonement segment. Let me grab the liqueur.
Yes.
For us.
Okay, last time we did this at my house, we had to do shots of Aperol. And that's all I had. Now I finally have a little liquor section.
His collection is great. He's got 4 different choices. You got tequila, gin. We're going to suck down some Japanese whiskey. He's really come up in the world since the last podcast shaming.
Yeah, I think Stu would enjoy this whiskey. Yeah, I'm atoning for my own smugness. Yes, I have been extremely smug all year. It keeps paying off, but I also realize it's a ridiculous look. Now, the question is, what's worse is my own smugness, or you have the Stu reverse where he's talking about this week's a must win for me, my garbage team, and he's like 6-1 or like 5-0 or something ridiculous. So I'm being smug and then winning by a lot, but I'm gonna do a shot for that because I like when teams are self-deprecating. I find it a very good trait to be self-deprecating, and I haven't been as much as I should. So shot.
Hold. We'll wait for me so we can do it together.
Okay.
I would also piggyback on that and saying you're kind of atoning for your lack of options the last time we were here, right? So kind of double atonement.
Definitely atone for that. I proceeded to buy $100 of liquor after that.
My atonement is for my whole running back fiasco this week. So my team is in like a death spiral into the Sacco bracket. Picked up Philip Lindsay last week, mentioned it on the pod, where I picked him up and an hour later he was given a Q.
That's right.
He later was out. Melvin Gordon, my other running back for that week, also out. Now I got 0 running backs. Fucking pick up. Actually, Sunday morning, I'm thinking about who am I going to play? You're
driving in from San Diego in the dark thinking about this for hours?
Literal hours of darkness. Zach Moss was inactive the week before.
Yeah.
So there was a chance. Oh, and I had used all my moves besides one. I had one move left. So there's a chance I was only going to have one eligible running back.
God.
Zach Moss ended up playing. But the whole weekend, I was watching the status of James Robinson because he was banged up. His backup's Carlos Hyde, who, even though they had a bad matchup, previously when Robinson was out, had a lot of work. And so Hyde was the guy I was looking at. I was like, I'm going to pick up Hyde. I'm going to pick up Hyde. And so all throughout Sunday, and we were going through this saga.
The picture was hilarious. You come over before 9 a.m. You're like, hey, I got to pick up a running back. He confides in me. I promise I won't pick this guy up. He tells me he wants Hyde. It's like 9:40. They don't play till 1 o'clock. And I'm like, that seems like a very reasonable idea. You should just do it now. And I'm looking at things to add, and I almost a couple times add him on accident because he's just right there at the top of the most added player list of that day. And I'm like, you should do it, man. You should do it. And then what happens?
Right. So Robinson ends up playing.
This is 12.
So I don't pick up Hyde. Yeah, Robinson is he's in. Hyde ended up scoring a touchdown, but I think he only scored 7 points. He had 2 carries, 10 yards,
better
touchdown,
than the other guy.
Something like that. Well, we'll get there. Someone else who I'd been monitoring over the weekend, previous flame of mine, Mike Davis, who I had rostered for I don't know, 11 of 13 weeks or 10 of 13 weeks. But he janked me so much and so often that I was like, fuck that, I'm not picking up Mike Davis. Well, he scored a touchdown and had 14 overall points.
That's right.
Fuck.
More than Cordero Patterson had.
Who else was I looking at? There's one other dude. But anyway, I pivoted to DJ Dallas because he caught 5 passes in their last game, and Alex Collins was out. Now,
we talked about DJ Dallas, though, at 11 a.m., and I was like, dude, I had him against Bacon. He got 0. Don't do it. And you're like, all right. And then I go to the bathroom or something, and you're like, I picked somebody up. And I was like, who'd you pick up? DJ Dallas. I'm like, what have you done, man?
So he scored 0 points, and it got so bad we're watching that game that eventually I was like, I just wanted him to see him in the huddle. We didn't see him at all. Homer, one of the other running backs, 18 points, got a touchdown. Penny getting a bunch of work. Peterson, who was activated that day, scores a touchdown.
The corpse of Adrian Peterson scoring.
DJ Dallas is bringing everybody else water.
And,
who the fuck knows?
And dude, credit to you, man. Your puppy dog attitude, because you were getting roasted. I had my friend Julian over. We were cracking all these jokes about Dallas in the huddle. No, wait, that's Homer. Dallas on the sideline again. Then he played 2 snaps or something.
I didn't see him play.
Yeah, we didn't see him play.
The Athletic does a breakdown of the running backfield snaps, and Dallas had 2 snaps. So he did get on the field, so at least that's something.
So rather than having a dash next to his name, you got the 0.00.
Yeah,
which is good.
I made many mistakes. This whole season, this week specifically, but there's a little. I don't even know what the word is. Consolation in knowing that it would literally not have mattered had I made all the perfect moves as Scott put up 180 points.
That's actually very true. The only thing that you missed out on really is because I blew out Evan by 80, and then you get DJ Dallas, you lost by 82. So you would have not have had the biggest blowout. Not that matters, but for last week's theme, there are random things in Yahoo, like the medals, like the whatever else we were talking about last week in terms of these random things. The gold versus platinum. Biggest blowout's another one. Who keeps track of those? Where do those go? Maybe we should track those next year and have some type of...
There actually is tracked.
Is it tracked?
You can actually click into the league and track it. In a
see 'em
previous
all?
podcast, we did discuss it a little bit.
Okay.
Adam, I think it was week 9, and Adam had received like 3 of the 9 blowouts.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, it gives you the week. Past winners. Oh, that's great. I've won 3 times. Okay, this is interesting. Bacon's up there huge, too. Bacon's blowing people out.
But anyway, this is the atonement section, so cheers,
Yeah,
Buckaroo.
cheers.
Good.
Cheers.
Japanese whiskey.
Yeah. Whoo! Chase it with this 9% Belgian IPA.
That's the liquor. Okay. Next section, fun storylines to follow throughout the season. This was something that you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, I want to talk about top position players at certain positions. I'll start with tight end because I thought it was very interesting. I'll just do top 5 for every position. So
Yeah, I
it
like
won't take
top
too
5. I
long.
like top 5.
So Travis Kelce's the best with 155 points. And then Mark Andrews is second. I had no idea. I looked this up earlier and I was very surprised at that. Hawkinson is number 3, and I haven't really played him at all in the last 6 weeks. So he's just hanging out. And then Kittle and then Dalton Schultz on O'Malley's
Dalton
team.
Schultz.
Yes. Kittle last week, by the way, was so sick. He was blowing my mind. Watching him play, it was awesome. I was a big fan of that. So that's the top 5 for tight ends. Running back, Jonathan Taylor-Thomas, of course, 292 fantasy points, the number 1 overall skill player. And then Eckler, 232 to Menage a Trois. Joe Mixon having a really resurgent year. And then it drops off pretty after that. Fournette and then Najee
Fournette
Harris.
still. Fuck.
Yeah, Fournette and Harris, 4 or 5. O'Malley has 2 of these top 5, by the way. He's got 2nd and 5th, which is interesting. Wide receiver, this is where you get into Team Jiggy land.
God damn it.
Cooper Kupp, 255. I was talking with you. Cooper Kupp's going to be a top 5 pick next year, I think. Maybe even in our league. It's going to be Jonathan Taylor probably first overall, I imagine. So Kupp first, 255. Then Deebo Samuel, 207. I had no idea. I don't really watch the Niners enough to think he's that high, but there he is.
He just missed a game.
Yeah, and then Justin Jefferson's 3rd, also on my team. Hill, and then Devontae Adams. And then Cordero Patterson's number 6. With a little bonus one. So I have 1, 3, and 6.
Bonus
There.
one. I'm also on my team.
Yeah, exactly. Quarterback, Tom Terrific's leading the pack. Tom, Herbert, and then Josh Allen. They're all very close. They're all in the 270s for points. And then Stafford on Team Jiggy. And then Jalen Hurts, who's on bye this week. But I'm surprised that Tom Brady's still doing it. He's number 1 in the league.
Yeah, I want to see where he was drafted relative to all the other quarterbacks because he's just crushing it.
We're doing some double podcasting deep dives
All
here.
right, let's see. Brady was the this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th quarterback taken. First pick of the 7th round by Bill.
Oh, 7th round.
Yep.
Okay.
9th quarterback taken.
I got Stafford after him.
Directly behind Herbert, Rodgers, Murray, Prescott, who were all taken in the 6th round.
Yeah, so top 3 quarterbacks, Brady, Herbert, Josh Allen. All right, and then kicker, we'll finish this off with the
Yeah,
first
kickers. Hell yeah.
Nick Folk is dominating. He has by
Fuck.
far the most, 142 fantasy points. That's 30
pickup.
more.
Great pickup by Weaver.
28 more than number 2, who is Daniel Carlson. Jobber Carlson.
Jabba Carlson has found a home in the desert.
In the desert, yeah. Turns out playing for the Raiders. Yeah, there you go. And then Matt Gay is 3rd. I got Tucker 4th, and then Jake Elliott on the Eagles is 5th. But honestly, 2 through 5 are so close. But Nick Folk is so much better than everybody else. On the Pats, and then we'll go defense last. I think the Pats are number 1. Yep. By a big amount, 143. I drafted them strictly because of Bacon. Shout out Bacon. Drafted them years ago, and they were by far the best. And ever since then, I'm like, I want that defense on my team. They're the best. And then Dallas is number 2. Indy, Buffalo, Arizona.
Hell yeah. One of my players gets on one of these
You're
top
on there.
5 lists.
You're on there.
The Arizona
Yeah.
defense.
One last little bonus section. If you sort by wide receiver, tight end, or running back, it's Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon, then Deebo Samuel. So Jonathan Taylor's number 1 overall. Nice job, Scott. He is good.
Yeah,
he's very good.
He's got to be the number 1 overall pick next year.
I think too. I think so too.
Barring some catastrophe.
Speaking of Scott, I want to give a shout out to Scott. Weaver did this last week. I want to do it again. Scott, that spreadsheet you did was awesome. Colin had a deep dive in this week. I was looking at it by myself last week. Really cool stuff, man. I appreciate you being around, and it's nice to have you involved, and your team is reaping benefits from it. Your team's looking pretty solid. The content you are adding is appreciated, and I wish we could hang out more often. It's nice to have you around.
Yeah, your team is crushing it.
A lot of engagement in Frisbee Touchdown this year.
So you have 2 other
Okay, no,
fun
just one
storylines?
more.
Oh, you got 2. Well, I guess
Regarding this podcast, the People's Pod, I miss Stuart's pod. Stu, why aren't you doing your pod anymore, buddy? We know you have downtime. God knows what you're doing up there. I miss your little rants. You used to talk about your mundane day, random errands that we all have to do, but you'd make them fun. I'd be always interested in what was going on in your little day. So yeah, you can even do like a special. Just do like a 90-minute rant about some topics. I would listen to that. It's like a comedy special. I'll tune in. But yeah, shout out to Stu and his old pod, the OG pod, by the way. That's right.
What was it even called? I guess it was a couple of best friends.
A couple of best friends
hanging
hanging,
out,
which has been bastardized. Well, I guess the channel's still there. You can add content.
Yeah,
We are still a couple of best friends hanging out, buddy. We miss Stu. Stu.
Next section. All right, so we're revisiting it last week a little bit. We talked about the potential changes, that spreadsheet that Adam put together, and now we're going to get Brad's take on a number of them that we spoke on.
Yeah, first reiterating from last time, I'm very pro Vegas. We talked about, Colin, we were talking about VRBO last week. I prefer Penthouse myself. We could do VRBO if it's sick. It's got to be sick. I want like pool. I want shirtless O'Malley like all the time.
I think that'll happen no matter where we are.
Well, I'll be shirtless too. It'll be so sick. Yeah, so I'm very pro Vegas. That'd be fun. I'd be down to go off the strip if it's super sick, but I would prefer like top of the Cosmo or Caesars or something ridiculous. Yeah, and then funds, we should invest Frisbee touchdown dues. And this only works if everyone pays up front, which I acknowledge that I don't do that, right?
I don't think I've paid yet either.
I'm sure like most of the league hasn't paid because people are so chill and like we always pay up at the end, right? But investing, we all have to take the money and play. Like push it in. There has to be, I'll crack the whip, I'll pay, whatever. And then the funds, like I would talk to O'Malley for sure, but we could even just buy the S&P, some like ETF, super chill. When it comes down to taxes, I imagine it won't be that much unless the market goes crazy in 4 months.
And that's a good problem to have.
That's a good problem to have. We also could lose money if we buy the stock market, but we'll see. The savings account, like, I have like a 0.5% account. It's only like you're only making like $20 or whatever, but I'd be down to talk to O'Malley and figure out what he wants to do. He is the CFO of the league somehow. That's right, I just gave you that title. But yeah, I'd be down to do that. I think that'd be a good call, especially if it's $250, because then we'll have, how much is that? That would be like $2,500? No, it'd be like over $3,000. Yeah. That'd be sweet. No.
It might be $3,000 exactly.
I think it is actually.
Yeah.
Yep, 3,000.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll invest that in low risk mutual funds and reap the rewards.
Or maybe at draft weekend in Vegas, we give it to one person. They put it all on black number 27.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then boom, see what
Black
happens.
27. That's right. What about number 13?
Did you know if it's black or not?
I don't know actually.
No, I know for a fact 27 is
That's
black.
cool. I usually do black, red, and you always got to bet the zeros. That's a little fun fact for you kids out there. Always bet the zeros or roulette.
Because
They'll hit. Then everyone else loses it for you. And you can be very smug, just like me.
maybe we allocate half. I don't know. That could be fun though. Entrusting someone to bet a percentage of the total league dues and then see if we get any money.
This will, of
And
course,
then,
need full league ratification.
of course. Well, imagine. So we all agree, and any winnings that we have can just go towards like the winner's pot or something.
Yeah.
And if we lose it, then it would just shrink into the percentage. So the winner would get the same percent. It would just be a smaller slice of the pie. As
That's right.
At least everyone on the podcast has said that the money is not the object.
Right, of course. Well, it's the prestige, and like you guys
Yes.
talk about the high stakes. I feel the stakes for sure. Like this year, because I was in Africa, I was like, I'm not doing any other fucking league, but this one I'm for sure doing. Luckily, it worked out. But yeah, dude, the prestige is there. That's why I wanted to raise it to 250 too, because it's definitely a little bit more. I mean, Max makes a good point about it. He's like, "This is the league I care most about. Is the least money that he is in." You know? And I think we should probably rectify that. At least 250. That's a healthy little jump. But then every week you win, you get $50. That's pretty cool. Adds up. Then next, regarding rivals and stuff, like I like the divisions just because it's cool to have like a South, a West, and a North. But then I imagine we'd reshuffle it if people move. That'd be kind of fun. But I also like the idea of random rivals, and I like the idea of conferences. Like you play someone within your conference, and then next year it switches, right? So you're always kind of playing different people within a certain rivalry mix. Before, I always really liked the idea of, for when it was 2 weeks of rivals, having those weeks, interspersed throughout the year, and those weeks being the top 6 players win, the top 6 points for a team wins, right? Like a jamboree or just like a pure points week. But with 3 of those weeks, I don't know if that makes as much sense. It's kind of a lot. You can thank the NFL for making it 17 games, which is a weird number. But yeah, I don't know what to do. I think this is the number one thing we should talk about before the draft next year. It seems to have the most, like, everyone has different opinions and no one's really quite sure, and I'm not quite sure. I don't want to have just like a hard opinion on it. I'm curious what other people's ideas are.
Right, for the divisions, if we did 3, you would have the same schedule as you have this year, where you play those in your division twice, which would be the same as having your 3 rivals.
Yeah.
And you play everybody else once.
Yeah, that's right.
So the change would be how the playoffs are decided, where you would think the division winner moves on, and then from there it would be best record after that. Yeah, definitely down to discuss that, or if we do like 2 divisions, so 2 of 6. I haven't thought about how those games would work yet, but also a possibility if we wanted to increase the number of teams per division, and therefore, like we were saying, increase those who you're connecting with outside of your geographic region.
Yeah, Weaver had some really good takes last week. Shout out to Aaron Weaver. I was listening with a rapt ear earlier today to all your takes. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like I do like to play people out of the division and talk, which you still will, but
right, it would just be like you'd have an extra game against 3 people.
And it'd be static
and those
rivals.
would be the ones that are closest to you geographically, instead of like right now my rivals are, I think like Bill, Scott, and Evan.
Yeah.
Right, so those guys, none of those would be in the like quote unquote South division if we did it this way.
Right. Yeah, I also like maybe perhaps the answer is random rivals. Just is always different, I don't know how much of a lift that is for Pebbles, but like
I think that's what we're doing now. I think we're just doing super random
I
every
mean,
year.
that might just be the best. Like who knows? That might just people like that's the easiest, right? And I don't mind that. It's like pure randomness. It's like how every year some teams are just really good and some teams are bad. Like I don't know. Max or Adam could have the best team next year. You don't know. You draft a completely new team, so it kind of makes sense to keep it random in there, but. More to discuss, I imagine. Especially when we're drunk in Vegas, that'll be great. Just yelling at each other. And then I know Weaver and you were talking about like roster construction last week. It's an interesting point because like Weaver brought up a point like the best teams can hold talent because they don't have to switch them out. But like that's the benefit of being the best team, and that's what we all want. Like it's not like I'm the Dodgers or something or the Yankees and I have a ton of money. We all draft them from the same pool every year. It's totally brand new. So 1 year you're good, 1 year you suck. Now, after thinking about it more, it might be cool to remove a roster slot. No more IR, just take 1 out of the bench. Right? I mean, no one could agree with me. That's fine, but it's kind of because that would add 12 more people to the waiver wire all the time. And as you saw on Sunday morning, you're looking around for a running back, and it's just terrible. It's awful.
I think if you remove a spot and an IR slot, that would be brutal.
No. Keep the IRs as they are for
so
COVID
you have
and
one for COVID,
but you just remove a bench slot, right?
Right.
So
That's actually what Weaver's proposal is.
yeah, so I thought about it more, and I was like, you know what, that's a pretty good idea, because like it would add this like, it's hard to hold on to guys because you're scared that they're gonna blow up, right? But again, then it's like you shouldn't have 3 of the same guy, you know. Much like this video game I've been playing, Zelda Breath of the Wild. I actually recommend it to you all. I've been recovering from back surgery. I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild on the Switch. Your weapons in that game, when you use them, they break. The boomerang, the good bows, they all break.
Just like football players in real life.
Yes, they break. So that game teaches you don't fall in love with the guy or fall in love with your sword or whatever. It's going to fucking break. So in fantasy football, the same is true, right? Like I've been holding Marvin Jones Jr. all year because I have the luxury of being able to do that. He's been pretty bad the last month. I probably could have dropped him, but I don't have to drop him. Now, I'm not saying he should be on the waiver wire. Nor would he be good for you to pick up, but it's like that kind of churning of the back end of the roster could be more fun for the rest of the league, you know? It's just like a thought. It's interesting to bring up one less bench slot. I like how the rest of the roster is for sure. 1 IR and then 1 for COVID. I think that makes sense.
How do you feel about kickers?
I like the kickers. I think it's fun. It's random. It's all good. Who the fuck is Nick Folk? He's dominating. Who the fuck knows? I mean, yeah, you could argue that I'd want to do something else weird, like double QB.
No, I like kickers. I don't want to get rid of them.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I feel like the league is split almost evenly.
I would vote
if
keep
not
the
like
kicker.
8-4, like 7-5 about kickers.
I'd vote keep. Yeah, like it's just not a concern. Like it's fine.
Yeah. All right, next section, we're doing the league picks leaderboard, updated with week 13. Again, 60-game minimum. Adam had this all but locked up last week, and now I think it is confirmed.
It's confirmed.
Adam went 4-2.
I do like confirming things.
Confirmed. Confirmed. Adam is at a 6:15 clip, 48 correct picks. Actually, I don't know what the total is. What is the total? We've had 13 weeks times 6 games per week. So 78. So out of 78, Adam's got 48 points, which is 6-15. Let's make sure that math checks out here. Yep, that's correct. 78 total picks. So Adam's got 6-15. Next was Bacon, but Bacon did not put any picks in for week 13, so he has now been eliminated because he cannot reach the 60-game minimum. Next closest person would be Weaver, who has 39 points, if you include the 2 that he said on the pod but didn't click in the app.
Well, we'll include those. We'll count those.
Yeah, we'll include him because it's going to get him to second place perhaps. He's at 542, 39 out of 72 games. Myself then, I'm at 40 out of 78, which is a 513 clip. O'Malley dropped below 500. I know he was trying to make some contrarian picks to try and just pick against Adam to hypothetically jump into that top spot, although I don't even know if O'Malley was eligible to get to that top spot. 47 for him. Stu didn't put any picks last time. He's at 463. He's at 54 games. Doubtful he actually does this last week because it's impossible for him to win. And Pebbles also did not put any picks this week. I'm pretty sure he didn't do any last week either. He's also eliminated. So, Adam, congratulations. What kind of whiskey do you want? I guess now the question is how much are we each willing to spend? There's 7 of us who entered into this, so do we each want to do $10 or do we want to do $15? What's our price here? We want to do. I'd personally be down for 15. I guess what's 15 times?
It'd be fun to do like
6.
It'd be fun to do like 3 and try to get whiskey for like $18. Like like plastic bottle heritage whiskey or something.
It's like, congratulations, Adam. You get heritage whiskey.
You get Evan Williams. That was, if we found in some shop.
Actually found this in my closet. It's a half drink, but
exactly.
There you go. If we all do $15, that'd be 90 total. So that could be a pretty nice bottle of whiskey.
Whiskey at Trader Joe's is not very expensive if you want to get good
that
stuff.
Also
they got good stuff in there.
Okay, well, we're going to do a quick Week 13 review before we dive into the plethora of playoff scenarios. So, yeah, very quick here. Both Weaver and I picked Scott to beat myself.
You did.
Like we mentioned, my team, I'm on a 3-game losing streak. It's been pretty bad.
What did you say earlier? Like, my team is in shambles.
Oh yeah, shambles.
Yeah.
It's a shamble. It's a shamble. Although it really, literally now doesn't matter. But we'll get into that later. So Scott did beat me. Weaver and I are both correct on that one. We both picked Pebbles to upset Stu as the 7th place team going against the 4th place team.
Which
and
he
did. Bacon did not beat Bill, although it was close there for a second.
Yeah, it was close.
Both Weaver and I thought that would happen, but it didn't.
Me too.
Bill takes Bacon down. O'Malley took down Max. Weaver and I both thought that was going to happen. We both took Weaver himself to beat Adam, and then Adam beat Weaver, which is awesome because it sets up so much drama for this week.
Does.
So Adam, way to potentially play spoiler there, and hopefully you continue to play spoiler in this next week. And then Weaver and I also both took Jiggy Jiggy to beat Amarika Fuck Yeah, and as the jingle has told us, that did happen.
I think the reason why I'm Team Smuggy is likely because I listened to that first week podcast and you guys were talking shit on my draft. You were like, oh, he's in Africa. He's got malaria. Oh, he climbed Kilimanjaro. He's not paying attention. Saquon. Blah, blah, blah.
I think we were mostly talking shit because you're like, look, guys, I don't want to pick my last few picks. I got to go slam.
Okay, I definitely did
Which
do that.
That is why we were talking
Well,
shit.
the origin of Team Jiggy Jiggy is sacrosanct. It's a sacred cow. All right? We can't talk shit on that. What we can talk shit on is, yes, I was absent near the end of the draft. And I asked you to pick up some players. I gave you a list. And my team has been dominating since then. And I think that's why I'm so smug. Because you guys talk shit, and then my team is great. Well, not great. It's good. It's good. We'll see.
Well, yeah,
see.
anything can happen. Your team, about a month ago, put up, fewer than 80 points?
Weaver and I were just talking earlier, and he's hoping for a Dickarus scenario, and I can't say I blame him. I'm going to burn out on the wings of smug.
Who among us has not been Dickarus?
Yes, show me a non-hubris person. I'll show you nobody.
I was trying to think of someone like maybe Bacon, but Bacon did put a curse on Adam that one year.
I've seen Bacon say some smug shit. Oh, yeah. You see him on the Frisbee field. He'll talk some shit.
That was last week's. Now, playoff madness section.
Here we go.
Okay, I need to note this time of this to put some pictures as the image. We are about 31-ish minutes in. That's good to note. I'm going to type that out. So obviously everybody knows that so much can happen right now. And we're going to go through those scenarios. It was noted by Pebbles that no 7 and 6 teams are playing each other, which is crazy because those 7 and 6 teams are the ones who are vying for those last spots. Right now, they're Stu, Weaver, O'Malley, and Pebs are all at 7 and 6, 4 of them, and then Scott, who also is still eligible, is at 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And none of those teams are playing each other.
It's fucking wild. It's honestly amazing. And Scott is like, even though he's on the outside looking in right now, everyone's mentioning, and I kind of agree, his team is looking firing. He's got a pretty damn good team right now. He's in third in terms of points scored. No, second in terms of points scored. No, third behind Evan. Yeah. But dude, oh man, what a wild time. 4 through 9 could all flip.
So going through the numbers here, basically Evan, Bill, and Brad, they're all in. Evan and Bill are confirmed. Brad is all but confirmed. You were saying earlier you have a 99% chance as Yahoo
I have to
do.
score negative points.
Brad's got a fuck ton of points. So Evan, literally, he's got the first place spot locked in.
No one can catch him. Congrats,
Can't
buddy.
Because
I beat him twice.
Bill would need Evan to lose, and he would need to outscore Evan by 80 points to get first. So Bill,
it could
Evan's
happen,
basically, I mean, it's hypothetically could happen, but like 80 points is a pretty large margin.
Yeah.
So Evan's all but locked into the first spot. Bill then right behind him, his highest place possible he could finish is second, or third is his lowest. He's already locked in. Brad's next, highest he could get is second.
Mm-hmm.
If he leaps over Bill, lowest he gets third. So those two are basically, they are locked in the top 3. Bill and Brad would either be the 2 or the 3.
Maybe we switch.
After that's where it gets interesting because we have the 4 through 8 current place teams, Stu, Weaver, O'Malley, Pebbles, and Scott, all vying for 3 playoff spots. So go through them. Stu, actually all of them, highest they can place is 4th. Lowest they can place is 8th. For Stu's got to beat Max. He's currently on a 3-game losing streak, but he has more points than the other current 7 and 6 teams. So Stu is basically in a win-in situation, but again, still needs to beat Max, right? Weaver, after that, he has to beat Bill, which is no small feat. He's not going to pass Brad in points, but he has more points than Pebbles and O'Malley, but has fewer points than Scott and Stu. So obviously, win, and Weaver's looking good. Lose, and he's probably on the outside looking in just because Scott and Stu got more points than he does. After that is O'Malley. He's got fewer points than Scott, who, again, needs a W to get in, who he's playing Adam. He's got 60 points fewer than Stu currently as well. So O'Malley needs a win and needs a little bit of help from other teams. Basically, the further down on this list you get, the more unlikely it is for these guys to hop in. In any case, next we got Pebs. He's got to beat Brad, which might be the tallest order of all.
Hey.
He's not going to catch Scott in points if they have the same record, and he's 60 points below Weaver and 40 points below O'Malley. So Pebbles really needs this win.
Yeah. Good luck, buckaroo.
And then Scott, who's in maybe the most precarious spot of all, needs Stu, O'Malley, Weaver, and Pebs to lose, or I guess any combination of that. There's 3 spots left here, so there is a world where not all those 4 people lose, but Scott still gets in because he has more points than all of them.
There's so many scenarios going
Except
on.
for, actually, does he have more points than Stu? Let's check that.
He does,
He just
yeah.
fucking
He's in
shit
third.
on me. Yeah, he did. So Scott's got the most points out of any of these 5 teams who are eligible, but the worst record.
Right.
But again, Stu, Weaver, O'Malley, Pebs, and Scott all can finish highest 4th or lowest 8th. And then you get to the Sacco contenders. Myself, Adam, and Bacon, the highest we can place is 9th, and the lowest we can place is 11th. And then Max basically is guaranteed to get 12 just because of the wins he has. However, all of us are playing a pretty pivotal role in this whole equation because, actually not all of us, I'm playing Evan, so my matchup literally does not matter because Evan is locked into the first seed, and I'm locked into the bottom 4. Bacon is playing O'Malley, and O'Malley really needs it. Max is playing Stu, who really needs it. And
Everyone's playing.
Adam is playing Scott, who really, really needs it.
Yeah.
So that's...
I also need the win, too.
situation.
Everyone needs the fucking win.
You don't really... I mean, I guess...
If I win and Bill loses, I get the second. It's totally
Wow.
worth it. I
Yes.
have to try. People who's talking about me throwing the matchup, I could, because it could actually help with the Scott situation. No doubt about it, if I get 3rd and Scott gets 6th, I'm going to be not stoked about it. We're 1-1, but, like, the points in the first week were so close. He beat me by, like, 5, and then this last week I scored a bunch, but he scored a bunch against you the next week. Yeah, this is crazy. We'll talk about it more later, but I want you all to know if Colin has a spreadsheet color-coded, we should put a screenshot of this.
I've already screenshot.
Oh, good.
That's why I noted
Good,
the time.
good.
There's many screenshots to share.
It's good.
So those are the crazy playoff scenarios. And now getting into this week of picks and then how we are seeing that they will unfold. Why don't we start with my matchup? We got Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen versus Amarika Fuck Yeah. How do you foresee this matchup going?
Yeah, so Goddard, your boy, he's out. He's on a bye. I think he was the only guy last week that scored more than projected for you. I could be wrong. He was very good last week.
The Arizona defense also beat their projections.
Okay. Goddard was good last week, but you got Chubb. So that's a big change. Last week, your running backs were Moss and DJ Dallas. So now you have Chubb and then the other guy. Who's the other guy?
Gordon.
Okay, so also good, right? And then you picked up that guy on the Chargers, Guyton, on the Clippers. If Keenan and Prison Mike can't play because of COVID, Mike is now out. until 5 days. So if he tests negative, he's also not vaccinated, which is so sick and prison Mikey of him. You know, like why are you not vaccinated, bro? You live in LA, but so he might play. If neither of them play, Guyton will be sick for sure, and because they play the Giants, who suck, as we all know. That being said, America is in first for a reason, right? I think a lot of Weaver's takes last week I also would agree with. Like, Amari Cooper could bust at any time. I'm not super sold on him. Obviously, Mixon's having a great year, as we talked about earlier. He's top 5 in the running backs, but he's got 3 Qs right now on his roster. So I don't like that. My pick, I would pick you because you were so janked last week, and you're at my house, and it's fun. And if Guyton plays and Prison Mike and Keenan don't play, I think that's a huge come up, and you're going to have 4 stud wide receivers then.
Yeah, I definitely have noted all the cues on Evan's squad. It'll be nice to get Chubb back, obviously, for me. With all that said, I think Evan's team is still a little more solid. I don't think Moore, Mixon, and Pollard all are going to miss, and even if they do, Evan has Brandon Cooks on his bench where he can just slot in there.
Cooks is a huge, like, boomer bust guy in my book.
For
he
sure,
has been for like 5 years.
For sure.
Who knows?
But Devonta Freeman, who he's gotten his flex, has been crushing it, and I dropped him on their bye in week 8.
Oh, no.
Evan picked him up, and he's been... I mean, we just talked about my fucking running back situation.
Yeah,
this
could have been clutch.
Back then, they had fucking Bell, and they had...
Back then they didn't want me. Now you're hot. They all want me. They're all on me.
Yeah, I'm taking Evan in this one because I think this is one of those weeks where the ball would have to bounce my way many times, as it has the last few weeks, as I've needed, and it hasn't come up. So I'm taking Evan.
I think it's time for you to have a bounce back week.
I would love that. I would love
Covito
to,
Rogers against the Bears.
That'd be nice at the Sunday night game.
That was earlier, right, this year, where he ran the end zone. He was like, "I've owned you for a fucking decade," or whatever. That was so sick. That was before he.
That was in Covito. Chicago. Yeah.
What do you fucking? That was so sick. He said something like that.
I own you. I think he said, I own you.
I fucking own you. He's the fucking man. So we'll see. Maybe he balls out.
But I think this might be the only matchup that literally would not affect anything that's happening. So
that's what we got out of the way.
You're taking me. I'm taking Evan.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Next matchup, we got Fields of Broken Dreams.
For Smuggy.
Versus Smuggy. I guess we can. You want to talk about you now or later?
No, I'll talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I win and Bill loses, I get the bye. Obviously, I want to play for that. P-Lead is not starting a wide receiver. My team is a fucking buzzsaw. Look at my last 3 weeks if you want any confirmation. My average points a week is 136. Is that good? I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna pick myself. But that being said, I don't want to talk shit on Peebly's team. Not that they're terrible, right? If Cook plays, which is huge for other matchups as well.
Yep.
That could influence you. As you said earlier, I have had weeks where I've scored under 100. So anything's possible, right? As KG would say. I luckily have Denver defense on my bench, and they're playing against Detroit this week on New England's bye. So sorry about that, Peebly. That's just the perfect cookie crumble. I actually looked at that like 4 weeks ago, and I was like, this will be sickening. That's one of the reasons why I picked him up. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to pick myself. What do you think?
Also picking you. Your team is super stacked. Jefferson's going to get an increase as Thielen is out. Kupp and Stafford have been balling all year. Patterson.
We know you love him. He's been
the guy. He's been the guy. Although he had a down week and still scored double-digit points for you.
Yeah.
There's a few question marks on your team, though. Like, Barkley popped up on the injury report again today.
He just doesn't practice during the week right now.
Hilliard, who blew up in the Titans' last game before the bye, is now in like a 3-man committee because Foreman and...
That's the prison Mike question mark.
McNichols
McNichols, who was a huge bid, right? Like $60 bid for McNichols or something?
I think it was like 50.
It was him and Peterson went huge, and now they both... Then I get the other guy, so to say.
Yeah.
I mean, well, obviously, if Mike can play, I'm gonna play play Williams for sure.
Yeah, Pebbles needs a wide receiver currently with no options on his
Is
bench.
Keenan gonna? Is there a possibility?
So both
that he
Keenan
even plays?
and Prison Mike could play. So Keenan tested positive on like Monday, but if you have multiple days of negative tests,
because he is vaccinated,
then
whereas
you
Mike is not.
could play. Yeah, Mike is not vaccinated, but because he's a close contact, like he was a contact,
But
not tested positive himself.
Yeah.
So they both could play.
Okay.
So Keenan may play, but yeah, I mean Cook is questionable, and they're playing tomorrow night, so it's like super questionable.
Yeah, that's super questionable. That should be a good game.
Cousins against Pittsburgh also is a little bit questionable. So
yeah,
I mean
trouble.
it could bounce either way, but I think your team is just more solid.
Yeah, that's the Konyagi. It gives me the spirit, the African liquor that's within me, you know.
Anyway, next matchup we got Bakeroo versus O'Malley.
You go first on this one.
Okay. Well, my notes for this one. Valdez Scantlin is available for Bacon to play. He has been a target monster the last few games they have had. Bacon's roster right now is looking kind of bunk because he's got Thielen, Parker, and Gaskin all currently still in his lineup who are either injured and will not play or on a bye.
Sure.
No, of course he will. Of course he will. But I'm saying the Bush is a little misleading.
It is misleading.
As it is at this time. However, Kamara is coming back, and Ingram just tested positive for COVID, so Kamara's workload is going to be fat. So you can basically throw in that 20-point Bush where Gaskin is currently in Bacon's lineup.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Kamara hasn't played in a month. I did not know that.
On the O'Malley side, Eckler is a little bit banged up. He's got a Q currently, but as we talked about the Clippers receivers and the possibility that both Prison Mike and Keenan are out, that could result in an uptick in Eckler's work. And another little fun thing about this one is Bacon has Herbert. So, is he passing to other guys who aren't Eckler, or is he passing to Eckler?
These matchups go so deep.
Yeah, so that's pretty fun right there. But all in all, I think O'Malley's team is better. We've been talking about Eckler, Harris, and Robinson being a three-headed monster for him. O'Malley picked up the Dallas defense, which, to my chagrin, went off. But now he's got him. Mm-hmm. And we talked about Schultz being in the top 5 tight ends.
Top 5.
Even though I think he did most of the damage in the beginning of the season.
Yep, he's played every week, though, which is huge.
O'Malley actually has got double Dallas with Gallup and Schultz in there. In any case, I'm taking... Oh, and he's triple Dallas with that defense. He's going all in on Dallas.
He's going all in. Also a top 5 defense.
Yeah. So, I'm taking O'Malley.
Yeah, so I was reading the San Diego Union Tribune this week, and they still talk about the Clippers, because they used to play in San Diego, as some of us know. And they said Eckler had the worst week as a pro they've ever seen last week, because he did fumble twice. Yet, in fantasy purposes, he put up 15 points. So if your worst week as a pro is you're putting up 15 points, I think that's pretty damn good. So he is good. He's gonna play. He's like the only guy on the team they need this guy to play. So I bet you he's just not gonna practice all week probably. In terms of who I actually think Bacon is gonna win this matchup.
Oh wow!
Because Kamara is back, and Kamara fucked me up. I have PTSD. I was leading Bacon by like 12 or something going into Monday night, and Kamara had got like 30. So he fucked me up. Obviously, he's got to switch out all these out guys, which I think he's doing just to mess with us. Exxon Valdez Scantling could be good. You never know. But yeah, I remember. If Bacon's got a full squad, this is going to be close. Like you said in our pre-podcast notes, we talked to all the players. We see how they're feeling, and it's going to be a close matchup. But I do think Bacon's going to get done. I've liked how Fournette's being used in Tampa and the Rams. He's got the Rams kicker, third best overall. What if he has a 20-point week? You never know. At Arizona in the Dome, could be good.
A fun wrinkle in this matchup too is that Bacon has Van Jefferson, Gay, the kicker there, and then the
So
LARD.
it's 3
all on
Rams
Monday
versus 3 Dallas.
But O'Malley also has Odell Beckham going on Monday, and Prater, who is the kicker for the Cardinals.
Oh man, so Monday's gonna have 5 guys.
It's a Monday night matchup.
It's coming
for
down
sure.
on Monday night. Wow, that's exciting.
Just wow. Moving on. Next one, we got Jamar Laxon versus Hooked on Stephonics. Why don't you take this one away?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, is Lamar Jackson broke? Does Max care anymore at this point? I mean, I don't blame him if he's got to play in the Sacco Bowl anyway, so he might as well just try then. I could see him taking a week off. His bench is also so fucked up. He's got no one to play. Like, it's brutal, right? It's not his fault. He's just in dire straits right now, and Stu's team is not bad. No doubt about it. I don't think Lamar is broken. I think he's going to play well this week. Let's see. So Ingram's on COVID, currently playing. Max has 2 guys with 0 right now. Hence my does Max care at this point concern. I don't know. Like, it really comes down to, I think, Jared Allen and Stephon Diggs in Tampa. If they ball out, Max has a chance. I would pick Stu if you asked me. That's who I would choose.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I'd pick Stu. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the state of Max's team is not ideal. His bench basically has no one he can
It's so bad. Dude.
play.
It's like yours last week. Yours last week was so bad, and then Max's is also right there. Bunch of IR, bunch of buys.
He does have 93 in the bush with 2 missing spots. So if he makes some moves, this will be a more
Do
interesting
you remember
matchup.
before half-point PPR, we'd have a lot of sub-100 bushes? Now
Yeah.
they're all like in like the 120s for bush. I mean, my
Not
bush
all
was
of
like
them.
one. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, my
man,
God.
that sounds awful.
Stu is fighting for his playoff life. We have a fun Hender Dog versus Michelle matchup here. The 2 running backs for the Rams. Henderson was active but got 0 points last week. Michelle filling in against the Jags put up a 20 spot. So interesting to see how the Rams usage for those running backs go.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about Stu's team, Shepard. I had Sterling Shepard on my. Did you have Shepard earlier this year too?
I think so.
Yeah, I had Shepard for like a month after trading for him with Pebbles for Trey Lance, and eventually I cut him loose because he could never play. And now he is.
I think I drafted him.
He practiced today, and the Giants are in a tough spot because Daniel Jones can't play, so they're going to be starting a second or third string quarterback.
Wow.
But if Shepard goes off after I had to cut him loose and all the sorry state of my team, I'm going to bust.
Wait. Okay, hold on. So there's 4 teams have owned Sterling Shepard this year. Is that right? Because I drafted
at least. Oh, and Pebbles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's crazy. That's a lot. Also, I noticed are the Rams the most started NFL team in our league? Because both the running backs are in this matchup.
What about the Buckaroos?
The Buckaroos are up there for sure. But I imagine the Rams tight end is getting started too. The Rams have like 8 guys: defense, kicker, quarterback, Cup, Jefferson,
Higbee,
Beckham,
who is on Stu's squad as well.
Yeah. So like these last 2 matchups have like 8 Rams in them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Bucks have Evans, Godwin, Fournette, Brady, Gronk.
I started Brate one week.
Antonio Brown when he was healthy.
Yeah, what the hell is he doing these days? Is he?
He's not anything. I'm taking Stu in this one.
Yep. I think that's we have to. Just poor Max. Dude.
Max's team is tough. However, it would be pretty awesome if this was the week that his team finally puts it together and gets 90 out of Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Tyreek Hill.
It could happen.
Time to sink Stu.
Hill, Diggs, and Allen all go for 30. That'd be pretty sick. It could happen. It could happen.
Next matchup, we got Fro Debo the Ballmore versus Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
Don't go breaking my heart.
This one's got implications.
Yeah, I call it the matchup of the week for sure in terms of implications. Number 2 versus number 5. You can't beat that.
I'm taking Bill. Basically, my notes here are, and you also concurred, the Seahawks stack that Weaver's been talking about all year versus the lowly Houston defense.
Yeah.
Now, I picked up Carson Wentz last week, they were playing the lowly Houston defense.
That's
and he had a piss poor game, 11 points for fantasy, because they didn't need him to do anything.
Because they're so bad.
It's possible that the Seahawks just run, and then Wilson gets nothing. Not the same team. I think Colts are a little better than the Seahawks.
Thomas versus the Seahawks corpses. The hell is Homer? He's even a first name. It's just Homer.
It's Homer. The health of Deebo Samuel comes into question. Didn't practice
Number
today.
2 overall wide receiver. Number 2 overall.
Yahoo says he's highly questionable. If he can't play, Bill then would have to either play Rondell Moore, who's on his bench, or throw in Renfro up there, and then he's got Chuba Hubbard on the bench currently, which he probably would slot into the flex as the starting running back.
Chuba Hubbard.
Also, the health of Montgomery comes into question, who is also questionable, but Bill's got his direct backup, so probably wouldn't take that much of a hit.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon's workload also is questioned. A lot of question marks for Bill.
There's so many question marks.
But he seems to have fine backup plans for all of his players. Whereas Weaver, Mitchell's in concussion protocol, hasn't yet passed that. Dalvin Cook is trending to play, so if he does, Madison becomes moot. Foreman on Tennessee, we talked about their now three-headed monster with McNichols and Hilliard. So I think all in all, Weaver's team has a few more question marks than Bill's, although Bill will need to make a tight end move if Waller doesn't play, who still is not practiced yet.
This matchup is so close, I almost want to go line by line, right? So you got the Clippers versus the New York Giants at home, and then you got Tennessee against Jacksonville at home. Both of those defenses could put up fat numbers. Then you got McManus, the Denver kicker for Bill, in Denver, could get fat points against Detroit. They suck. But then Weaver's got the Pittsburgh kicker in a dome, right? Foreman could have a huge game. Hilliard could have a huge game. Who knows what's going on down there? Renfro is number 1 in Vegas, but playing in Kansas City in December is fucking hard. The Chargers could never win. I remember back in the day. Waller's huge. If he plays, he's going to win that matchup. I don't know who Freiermuth is. I have no idea who that is. Some guy. Dillon versus Madison, of course, if Cook can go. Mitchell in San Francisco, he's got to play for Weaver to have a chance here. It's just like, it's so fucking close. Both of these teams are going to come down to the wire here. It's really down to Wussel and Metcalf. If they have a huge game at Houston, I think that's going to be great. Again, though, they could just rest because they are up by 21 at halftime. Who knows? Maybe on an 80-yard touchdown to Metcalf, though, you know? I'm going to pick Weaver in this matchup. I want him to win because if Bill loses, I get the bye, so I'm obviously biased. And this would fade my previous. Last time I was a guest on this pod, about a month ago, I thought Weaver was going to drop out of the playoff picture because Henry was hurt, but he's really managed it quite well. So I want Weaver to win. He would then therefore make the playoffs, and that would be exciting for him. And I'd be happy to see it. And I saw him today, so I'm biased because I got to hang out with him today. But yeah, this is the matchup. This is so fucking close. It's the fucking matchup of the week. No doubt about it.
With the final matchup of the week, we got Scott versus Adam. In this one, I'm taking Scott. My notes for this one, we got the Godwin versus Kevin's matchup. Always fun. Williams, who had a huge week for Denver and Adam this past Sunday, could be hurt because Melvin Gordon is now back from his injury. Conklin could see a little bump because Thielen is out. But Sutton, who Adam currently has started, has been pretty bad for the past 2 months. He hasn't eclipsed 9 points since October 17th.
Good God. I haven't had a receiver score less than 9 points all year.
Always a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Scott is not without his own questions, as Tevin Coleman is in the concussion protocol. But even if he can't play, Scott picked up both Jermichael Hasty and Osborne, the receiver.
Jay Hasty, that's a funny name.
So both of them could slot in. Hasty, if Mitchell can't play, is going to be the guy because all the other running backs are injured. And Osborne, who does play tomorrow night, so that could be a little sketchy decision Scott's got to make. But with Thielen out, Osborne produced last game. And then for for Adam, I mean, he's still trotting out a bunch of whatever Bill said, the lacking core thereof. Yeah. No, Weaver. God damn it. Adam did pick up Crowder, who, with Moore on the Jets being injured, could see his own bump. This could come down to Ezekiel Elliott's work. He's been banged up. Everyone knows he's banged up. Pollard is pushing into his work. Scott blew up on me last week. It's hard to pick against a team that just scored 180.
Yeah, he
so
beat the shit out of you.
I'm going with Scott.
So Crowder goes down in the league history, right? He's got to be in the record books after the, aforementioned Sacco moments. What I look at is the Niners are at Cincy. Scott's got Kittle, and he's got this other running back, Cincy, with the rare back-to-back home games. The Chargers just fucked him up through the air. Herbert had like 350 yards. Eckler fumbled twice, still got 15 points, as I said. So Cincinnati's just going to the Niners are going to score, right? Whenever I see Dallas on the road in December, I get concerned. So Zeke could have a huge game. The field could be all fucked up. I feel like the Redskins field's also always fucked up. I don't know why. I don't know why I have this image, but it's always like the field's just a swamp. And then Adam's also starting a Tennessee wide receiver. I don't know who that is. Westbrook Ikine? Who is that? Could be good. I'm telling Adam right now, my dog, you can't start Sutton. Don't do it. You gotta take somebody else, bro. I looked at him the other day. Trash. He's bad. But that being said, I'm picking Adam to win. He's got the heart of it. He's got the heart of a champion.
So you think he's just gonna bury Scott's chances?
Yeah, I mean, dude. Obviously, like if you look at my picks, I'm clearly hoping to get Jiggy to the bye, or at least avoid Scott, who I'm somehow terrified of, which I am. The team looks good. I mean, like all around the board. Kittle last week looked so sick. Connor and Jones as the running backs, even though Taylor is out this week on bye, are both very good. Kevin's could always have a huge game at home, too. You never know. And then Murray's at home in the dome. He's just going to run for 80 yards. He always runs. He's like, I could not tackle Kyler Murray if you gave me 10, 100 tries. Like, there's no way. He's like, he'd be my nightmare defensively to try to tackle that guy. He's so good. Now, Burrow could burrow underground. That's his special move.
Yeah.
So maybe he can't be tackled either.
And even though he's got potentially a broken finger, he's got 9 others to burrow with.
He can still burrow. But, of course, when he goes underground, he might come up on, like, the opposite sideline or, like, in the stands. He doesn't know where he's going. So that's a concern. Burrow's burrowing ability. But, yeah, I mean, again, I think this is actually going to be quite a close matchup. If you look, Scott has blown up, but also had really bad weeks. Like, just 2 weeks ago, I beat him by, like, 80, and then he beat you by 80. Right.
Yep.
Who knows, especially with Jonathan Taylor Thomas out. I think that's actually huge. If the Bengals can play well against the Niners and not let Kittle get 30, I think Adam wins.
Okay, so reviewing all those picks, starting at the top, both taking Evan over myself. We're both taking Brad over Pebs, which would extinguish Pebs' playoff hopes.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking... Well, you're taking Bacon, and I'm taking O'Malley in that
right.
matchup. That's an important one with
Close.
Implications. We're both taking Stu over Max. We are... Well, you're taking Weaver, and I'm taking Bill.
Yeah,
that one.
The matchup of the week. Of the week.
And I'm taking Scott, and you're taking Adam.
Yep.
And so what we can have fun with now is going back to the playoff implications is that... if we take our picks with the current standings, if my picks happen as I predicted, and I always go 6
Night Lord
in my
prediction
picks.
model.
Yes, that's right. The MPM. Last time we did it with the month left, and it didn't exactly work out. This time we have
I
1 week left.
don't remember that. I mean, it's a 2.0.
That's right. We've made some modifications. With my picks, if they happen, my playoff teams are Evan 1 seed, Bill 2 seed at 10-4. Brad would be the 3 seed. He would be 9-5. Stu would be 4. O'Malley would be 5. Both those guys would be 8-6. But Stu would have the points over O'Malley, and the last person in for the MPM would be Scott with 7-7. Weaver also would be 7-7, but Scott would have more points.
Yep.
And then Weaver currently has 60 more points than Pebbles, so Weaver would be 7, Pebbles would be 8, so they would get the bye in the Sacco
Beer bracket.
Like the beer bracket, yes. They would not be eligible for the Sacco. Actually, nobody who's eligible for the playoffs right now has to worry about the Sacco. So
that's good
that
news.
could be your silver lining.
That could be your silver line. Okay, so with mine, Evan's still in first, of course. I vault into second because I win, and Bill takes the L. Bill will be third with 9-5 record. I'll have the points over him. Stu's still fourth in both of our models, so the back-to-back Hall of Fame champion is back in the playoffs again in the 4th seed. He'll be playing Weaver in my picks with the 8-6 record. He'll have Stu's 4, Weaver 5, and then 6-7 comes down to points. O'Malley gets in with a 40-point lead over Peebly right now, but it's in yellow for a reason, because what if Peebly scores more than 40 points than O'Malley this week? Could happen. Pebs could put up 150 against me, and then I score 151, and Pebbles still gets in. We'll see. So it's just so cool that it all comes down to the final week, right? Like 4 through 8. I don't know if that's ever happened. It's awesome. It can really switch. So we'll see. Either way, Max is in 12th, and you're going to be fighting for the Sacco Buckaroo.
Your prediction is kind of fun because in your version, the underdogs of Colin, Adam, and Bacon all get a win.
That's right. Well, I like the underdog. Well, Bacon had a brutal week last week. I thought he was going to win the whole time. And then, I like the underdog, right? I want Adam to get a win. Dear Godwin, make me a bird so I can fly far, far away. I want you to win.
If in either one of our models here, the Sacco ship would be Colin v. Max, Adam v. Bacon in the Sacco semis.
Right. Mine is the smug success scenario, the triple S.
Yes,
model.
the smug the SSS.
The SSS.
Cool. Well, that's that. Any final thoughts? I mean, you're in a pretty nice spot no matter what. The lowest you can do is, third?
It's nice not to be stressed. I'm happy you're here, man. It's nice to have you around. It's dark as fuck outside. It's not even 6 o'clock. Hope you guys are all staying warm for the winter. A lot of you have chicas to hang out with, and Colin's got a buckaroo to hang out with.
This could be an all-time group me activity weekend as well.
Everybody pay attention on Sunday. We'll be here. Colin and we'll be drinking. We'll be hanging around. I'll be fucking watching football. Let's all watch. And let's all chat. So I'm looking forward to it. Should be good.
Sweet. Again, thanks, Kurt.
Shout out Kurt, dude. That was a dope jingle, as always.
And good luck, everybody.
Well,
even you, Evan.
Well, see you later.
America, fuck get lost. 2 teams fighting, but welcome to the People's Pod. Week 14's upon us, and I'm taking what is mine. If you make the playoffs, you are